PR Connections Radio presents. This episode of the Sunday Morning Chat Series is brought to you by Classy Communications PR and Advertising. Classy Communications provides public relations and marketing solutions for businesses, professionals, and non-profit organizations. They can deliver the true meaning of your business with press releases, social media marketing, web development, email marketing, book publishing, and much more. Wherever your potential clients are, they can help you connect with them. Visit classycommunications.net to learn more about their suite of services that can help your business stand out from the rest. Classy Communications is your solution for business success.
Hello there, and welcome to the Sunday Morning Chat Series with Jesse Oakley III, and I am your host, Jesse Oakley III. Now, the purpose of the Sunday Morning Chat Series is for yours truly to interview a plethora of people that are making big differences in the community, whether they're speakers, authors, leaders, writers, athletes, anyone you name, you'll hear from them first right here, right now, on the Sunday Morning Chat Series with Jesse Oakley III. And for today, we have ourselves a wonderful episode for you. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow happy people that are out there, as many of you know, I am also a published author, and I actually wrote the book, Green's Happy People, The Positive Words of Wisdom Through the Eyes of Mr. I. And I got to tell you, it takes a lot of work, effort, and heart to actually become a published author, and I am here, and I'm excited to actually get a chance to interview another fellow author. And this author actually has a book that's recently released called From Signal to Epiphany. And to explain it further, please help me welcome our author from Signal to Epiphany, none other than Dawane Wanek. Hey, Dawane, how's it going?
Hey, Jesse. It's going great. Man, you're bringing the energy this morning.
Oh, my goodness. And it's all about happy people and Sunday morning. And again, we all look forward to hearing more stories about how you got this book started. And speaking of which, are you ready to go?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right. Without further delay, let's chat. Now, the first question I'd like to ask for you is Signal to Epiphany. That many of us that actually accomplished the goal of writing a book, they actually had this idea, this kernel inside their mind to actually come with this vision and to actually do it to the point where you have the end result of having your own book. Now, when it comes to this thought that you do have about writing this book, could you take us to day one on how you got started?
Sure. So I didn't sit down to write a book. I literally was sitting in my living room watching golf on TV. My cat was asleep in my lap. And the next weekend, we had a family reunion coming up. And I thought, okay, let me just take my chatbot and ask him to go find the last email I sent to Baker Brothers Funeral Home to see if my dad's headstone ever showed up. Would this be the fourth year that I would go see where my dad was buried and it still not have a marker on it? So I simply asked him to send that email. He did. And then we started engaging, and I kept pulling on these threads. And then I landed in an epiphany that really, I got emotional. I literally could see this framework, this process that my brain uses to solve problems. And I said, holy crap, I need to go write this down. And so I literally sat down, opened up Word, and started typing. And I really thought, I didn't know it was going to be a book, didn't know if it was going to be an essay, whatever it was going to be. But I just started typing, and I thought it was going to be about this framework. But every chapter that I continued to write became much bigger than that. Yeah, very surreal.
I bet it's truly surreal. And let's go into further detail. And let's say that I want to buy the book, and I will buy the book, Signal to Epiphany, wink, wink. So let's say that I'm excited about reading the book about Signal to Epiphany, and you mentioned a little bit about it just here now. And when I crack open the book From Signal to Epiphany, what am I expected to see from this masterpiece?
Well, if you decide to crack the book open, pretend you're sitting on the back porch. We're sitting there together, and this back porch is overlooking a creek, and I'm just telling you stories. That's the voice I chose to use throughout. And here's another interesting effect. Over the chapters, I could tell my writing was getting better. Okay. And when I got to the end, I said, should I go back and rewrite the early chapters? And I made a creative decision not to, because I want the reader to have that evolution journey that I had as a writer.
Oh my. Again, this is just truly mind blowing to actually have that discussion back and forth. And you know what? That's the best way to actually have that reader mindset is actually think for themselves and come up with their own drawings. And I tell you what, nothing gets me more excited than having an encourager like yourself give that story and give that book. And I tell you what, I'm so looking forward to buying that book. As a matter of fact, happy people, you'll see this right here live in the living color. And it's on Amazon, am I correct? Is it there or?
So the Kindle version is out. I've got proofs coming tomorrow to make sure that the final product is exactly the way I want it. And then hopefully it'll be live next week.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to buy that book, and I'm actually putting myself on the phone as a reminder to actually purchase the book right here, right now. And I'm going to put this right here on my phone as a subtle reminder to actually get that doggone book of From Signal to Epiphany. So you just really got me hooked. You really got me excited, and you get me interested.
Whew. Good. You know, what's funny, Jesse, I had, I don't know, a couple dozen what I call beta readers throughout the process, just to, send drafts to, see what they thought. And it's like everyone who read it read a different book in some cases. One of the stories I talk about are a couple of my cousins who are twins that are about 10 years older than I am. And Don is an artist and Ron is a process guy. And as they were giving me feedback chapter after chapter, you could see that they were reading almost two different books. And what was interesting, Ron probably gave me the biggest compliment. He said, "You've masterfully buried a biography inside of a book about process."
Wow. Again, that's just, if we can get a reaction like that, you've done something remarkable. And I tell you what, ever since the beginning of this whole process, this whole episode, you really have gotten me pulled in to those moments. And I don't know about you, but I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this big time. And hopefully the happy people out there, hopefully you're enjoying this too as much as I'm enjoying this. And this is truly remarkable. Now, another question I do have for you is, each of us, from beginning to the end result, we have our own challenges when it comes to writing a book, any type of book, whether it is From Signal to Epiphany or Greetings, Happy People. Each of us have our own challenges that we're able to overcome. Could you give us a moment where you had a challenge in the process of writing this book and how you overcame it?
It's funny you asked that question because I gave a speech at one of my Advanced Toastmasters Club last week about not the book, but the process of writing the book. And at the end, it had a Q&A. And the very first question I got was, what was the hardest chapter to write? And I immediately knew the answer. It was chapter 1.
Ooh.
So I'm sitting there with Word and it's blank and it's open. And I swear I stare at that screen for a good 30 seconds and go, I'm not a writer. How do I do this? And then finally I said, okay, I guess I just start typing. And so I just started typing. And honestly, the first 5 chapters came pretty quickly. And so I took a break and said, okay, where do I want to go? Again, I thought I was going to be writing a book about process. And the stories I started including were examples of the different pieces of the framework. And then as it moved forward, it evolved into just plain stories. Stories of people that taught me different lessons in life. And I think one of the biggest compliments I've gotten is actually from my wife, Kelly, who doesn't give those out freely. She said, I read your first 17 chapters, and I got to tell you, you don't need this framework stuff. You didn't need to have AI bots in your laboratory to tell you you could do this. However, what you've done is you've written some wonderful stories to pay tribute to people who have impacted your life and made you who you are today.
I tell you, that moment right there, that is a perfect fitting moment. And it goes to show you that the challenges that you have and the overcoming the end results and seeing the beauty of overcoming that challenge, that brick wall, that path in the road, and actually experiencing that at that instant moment, at that real time, that goes to show you that this is bigger than actually just accomplishing in this book. This is just gone, transcends the amazing part where this is bigger than one could actually think, and you're overcoming that. That speaks a whole lot. That speaks a whole lot, man.
Well, it's, again, I sat down saying out loud to people I would ship this to when they said, "Hey, I'd like to read it." I'm not a writer, but here we are. And I came out of the process feeling like I've actually written something. And someone asked me, "What's the purpose of the book?" And what I've seen with the reaction of many of the beta readers is the fact that it created a compelling event for them to take action.
Mm-hmm.
One of them slacked me from a Panera Bread going, "I can't believe I'm sitting here crying, reading your book." And he said, "It made me think about the time my dad was dying in India, and I knew I needed to be there. And I got on an airplane, and the airplane couldn't fly fast enough. And it brought that moment back up for me, and I needed to sit with that. So thank you for that." Wow. So I couldn't have predicted impact like that. I couldn't have predicted another person going, "You made me think about my dad," or "You made me think about a mentor that I needed to reach out to." There was a scene in one of the chapters where it was a moment at a company called RLX that I worked at and the team that I had. And I actually, two people that were on that team received pre-copies of the book, and they both read it independently. And one of them actually got on a Zoom call just to catch up. And I mentioned to Molly, "Hey, Paul read it too." And she goes, "Tell Paul hi." And so I sent him a note, and he goes, "I need her phone number. We haven't spoken in decades, and we need to catch up." So seeing people take action based on whatever resonated in it for them, it's something I'm pretty excited about.
I bet it is. Oh my goodness. Now, you just mentioned one of many great moments when it comes to actually writing this book, and with the challenges I would overcome, which is a great moment indeed. Do you have any more best moments that you had when it comes to this whole process? You already gave us a whole myriad of best moments. Could you just give me one more that really stood out for you, even more than that? More.
I can. So one of my favorite chapters, the central character is a guy named Ray, and he was a vice president at Data General back when I was a rep. And one of the characters in that scene was one of my best friends named Pat. And he and I had cubes sitting next to each other. And what I didn't know is at the end of the quarter, Ray would have this war room in Dallas where he would go in, put all the deals they had to close, and then literally call every rep in his region and go, "Where the F is my purchase order?" And I heard the phones ring in the office, and I just didn't like the way these people were being treated.
Right.
And so when my phone rang, I picked it up. He goes, "Where the F is a purchase order?" And I hung up on him. And my phone rang again, and he goes, "I think we got disconnected, so let me try this again. Where the F is my purchase order?" And I hung up again. The next phone that rang was my boss, Dave's. And so there's a whole scene that plays out over a couple of weeks where he needed to come to Houston to have a conversation with this young man. And it played out okay.
I bet it did. It definitely did. Now, those type of moments that you actually stand up on the feet, and it goes to show you that you had those best moments, and that is truly heart. That's truly a heart. That gets you right here, man. It really does. And it's you've done something when you actually get those types of moments and challenges and opportunities, and actually culminate them together to get to where it is right now. And speaking of that, the book, when it comes to you being an author, and I'm sure that you probably have those times where you get to autograph your book, and you have people come up to you and saying, "Dawane, your book has really made an impact on me, and I want to be just like you as an author. You've accomplished this, and you really inspired me to actually go and become an author in my own right. Now, I want to be just like you, and I want to be in your shoes and become an author." Now, if someone were to tell you that, what advice would you give that person who wants to be an aspiring author?
Just do it. A couple of my beta readers actually reacted that way, going, "Wow, you have provoked me to do something similar. Thank you." And again, I didn't sit down to write this with any intent. I just started writing. And the fact that the byproduct provokes something in another human, not a bad purpose of a book.
That is definitely true. Just do it. You hear that, happy people? Again, loud in the back. Those 3 words, just do it. Just go out there and do it, because you never know when it's going to that start is going to lead to something that's truly amazing. Just do it. Now, the next question I have for you is, there's going to be people like myself that's going to go ahead and look for this book, and they want to purchase a copy, and they want to purchase as much as they can. Actually, where could they go? Could they go to find out more information about the book?
Well, one of the things that the publisher recommended is I set up a website. I didn't want to create just a regular old book website, here's who I am and go buy a book or whatever. So I created a LinkedIn discussion group, and it's real easy to find. Just type my name. I'm the only one out there with a name this goofy. And you'll see you can join it. It's open to the public. A lot of the early beta readers have joined it. And as the proofs have come in, as things like this are happening, I'm sharing real time pretty much every day, every step of this journey, because it is so surreal for me. And if it brings joy in someone else being able to travel alongside me in this journey, then it's worth the effort.
That's really amazing. And again, for those that want to check it out, just go to that LinkedIn page and just go ahead and connect to it. And there's going to be some amazing stuff that's on there. My goodness. Thank you very much for that information, Dawane. And the next question I do have for you is an opportunity for you to give thanks and give recognition to so many people out there. And I call it the shout out portion. Now, if you can give a shout out to as many people as you possibly can for making this wonderful thing happen for you, who would you like to give a shout out to?
First off, my wife, Kelly, for the patience to put up with this nonsense that it's just been surreal. I've tried to not inundate her with everything I'm doing and or feeling. In fact, after I wrote the first 5 chapters, I sent it to her and I said, here it is if you want to read it. She goes, nope, I want to wait till it's done. I'm like, okay, cool. So when it was done, I sent it to her, and then I didn't annoy her about it. I didn't ask her about it. I didn't ask her if she's read it. And it wasn't until we were on vacation in Savannah during the week of the 4th that we were sitting at the hotel bar, and she said, okay, I'm going to confess. I read the first 17 chapters of your book. And then gave me her opinion, as we shared earlier. So definitely her. My cousins, Don and Ron, who literally lived vicariously chapter by chapter through this book. And the fact that they are in it as well, and their different points of view, really mattered. And then definitely Pat and Peggy Rosso. So Pat's one of the characters in the book. He's been one of my great friends throughout my entire adult life. And when he read the race scene, he literally called and said, dude, I hadn't thought about that office in decades. And it brought back all the images of your cube next to mine and where Dave's office was and the fax machine and, all the things that you called out in the scene. And it was really cool to see him relive that moment with me. And there's many, many others, especially all the beta readers and the feedback they've given me.
I tell you what, you mentioned all those amazing people, especially that Kelly. I can tell you what, Kelly is a true rock star. And when she says, those words are pretty darn good. And for anyone out there, actually, if Kelly's watching this episode, all I got to say is, hi, Kelly, you are an amazing rock star.
I told her we were going to do this morning, and she said, make sure you tell Jesse hi.
All right. Now, the last question I do have for you will be addressed to the people that watch this podcast. And there are people that watch this podcast, and they are my people and my crew, and they're called the happy people. And every time I ask this question, they're amazed, and they always leave on a good note about the wise words of wisdom from my guests. So if you have one more wise words of wisdom to send to my people, my crew, the happy people, what would it be?
When I go back and reread this book and I realize that the foundation of it is gratitude, that to me is something that we all can recheck every single day. Realize the things that we're grateful for, the people that we're grateful for, the moments that we're grateful for. I mean, I can't believe that I'm living from where I came from, that I'm living the life that I have today. And it's 100% rooted in gratitude.
I tell you what, gratitude is gracious attitude. And Dawane, Wanek, that is a perfect bookend to a wonderful episode of the Sunday Morning Chat Series. And on behalf of all the people that are watching this episode, I'll take the time to say thank you for being on the Sunday Morning Chat Series with Jesse Oakley III. Thanks, Dawane.
Thank you, Jesse.
All right, and this concludes this episode of the Sunday Morning Chat Series. For more information about the sponsors PR Connections, go to prconnectionsradio.com. But wait, there's more. If you want to check out a plethora of podcasts under the PR Connections brand, go to YouTube, type PR Connections, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and check out the plethora of podcasts, including this one, the Sunday Morning Chat Series with Jesse Oakley III. But wait, there's also more. If you want to see some past episodes that I've done about positive people making big difference in the community, check out the new YouTube page on YouTube. Just type in Sunday Morning Chat Series 2.0, and you'll get to hear me interview a plethora of positive people that are making big difference in the community. Again, Sunday Morning Chat Series 2.0, and feel free to subscribe, comment, like, and hype the videos that I've done with many happy people along the way. Stay tuned for our next episode, which will take place Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for the Sunday Morning Chat Series with Jesse Oakley III. And this is Jesse Oakley III signing off. And on behalf of Dawane and myself, we tell you to take care of yourselves and remember to always, always, always have a good day. Take care, happy people. Bye.
The Cause Marketing Chamber of Commerce brings businesses and nonprofit organizations together to create synergistic relationships that benefit the community. Join our tribe to network with community and business partners, increase sales, improve fundraising efforts, differentiate your brand, help worthy nonprofits, and more. Become a member today. Visit our website, causemarketingchamber.com, to see how we can help you grow your business or your nonprofit organization. Click on the Join Now button at causemarketingchamber.com. Help us build a world where social responsibility is the new bottom line. PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.